Last week I showed you my Instagram strategy for growth in 2021, and that was for the content creation side of things. Now that is truly only 50% of what is going to contribute to your growth on Instagram in 2021. And as much as none of us like to admit it, engagement is that other 50%. So keep on watching to learn how you can use time spent engaging on Instagram to translate into new followers this year. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am excited to be back with another video on Instagram for you this week. You all seem to really like my video last week about my new Instagram strategy for 2021, so I'm excited to just keep on sharing more about that. And truthfully, in that video, I did leave out a pretty important part of the whole picture, which is time spent on engagement. So that's what we're gonna cover today. First, I wanna be honest with you though and say that so many of us like to avoid this engagement side of the strategy, probably because we're kind of lazy and it is very time consuming, and we all like to think that we can just throw some strategic content out on the feed and we'll gain followers for that, but really there's a lot more work involved than just that. As creators, we all love to tinker away on Canva or edit our videos or shoot our own photos because that's fun. I get it, that is the fun side of Instagram strategy. But in reality, if you spend all your time on that and never do any engagement work, it's all gonna be for naught because you won't actually see the growth that you're hoping for. It is very easy to procrastinate on replying to DMs, replying to comments, and going out and engaging with new people. I can say that from experience because up until yesterday, I was on like a month-and-a-half long streak of having over 100 unread message requests in my inbox. I normally like to keep up with my DMs and reply to as many people as possible, but December hit me like a truck. Anyway, life can be busy, that's always gonna be a factor, but the engagement strategy that I'm gonna share with you today is sort of an ideal scenario. Like if you had the time, this is what I would totally recommend. Everybody needs to figure out what makes sense for their own schedule and their own bandwidth in a given day. But this strategy is sort of the gold standard. If you can do it, I would really recommend doing it. You're gonna see the best results if you implement this to a T. Before we get into the exact step-by-step, I wanted to talk about why engagement matters. Like, why do we spend all this time doing this? For the beginner, it probably seems like, what does commenting on other people's photos have to do with me getting more followers? Well, I'm gonna tell you how it works. We all sort of like to imagine that there is this really mysterious, fancy, high-tech algorithm at work at Instagram, and that it's just sort of arbitrary what does well and what doesn't, as if Mark Zuckerberg is some kind of nefarious puppet master behind the scenes saying this post will get more likes, this post will get more reach. It's actually a lot less cool than that, and maybe even a little bit more nefarious if you really think about it. Essentially, what the algorithm is doing is choosing posts to show in feeds that are the most effective at keeping people on the platform longer, because old Zuckerberg's main goal is to keep you scrolling on Instagram for as long as possible, because then he can show you more ads and therefore make more money. If you're ever uncertain about what is the purpose behind the algorithm or the way the app is designed, it's always gonna be about money. It just is. And so it's important to recognize that when we are making our own content for the sake of our own business growth, because if we work alongside those maybe questionable goals of Instagram, then we'll be able to perform better on the platform. So how does engagement fit into this? Well, in the most basic sense, if people are engaging with your content, they are by nature spending more time on the app than if they would have just scrolled right past. So that's why creating content that is engaging is important, because you want people to stop, like, comment, share. That means that they're spending more time on the app. Therefore, the more engagement your post gets, the more reach it's gonna get. So that's why getting engagement on your own content is important, but then how does you going out and engaging actually impact that whole system? First of all, when you go out and engage with others on Instagram, you are actively building a community that is interested in engaging with your content. If I am frequently having conversations with my followers in the DMs, commenting on their posts, replying to their comments on my posts, liking their posts, they're way more likely to see me as a part of their world. And they're more likely to see me come up in their feed. And then also because they're like, hey, Katie, she comments on my posts, I'm gonna comment on hers because we're friends. It's all about building a community, building real relationships. And when you go and reach out to people and make contact with them, they're much more likely to be interested in taking the time to comment on your posts. The second thing engagement does for you and your business is that it fosters relationships with clients or potential clients. If, like me, you have a business that is service-based, or even if you're selling products or digital products or whatever, at least part of your goal on Instagram is going to be to get more clients. And people are way more likely to hire you if they have a relationship with you on Instagram. If you are frequently commenting on their posts, replying to their questions, and providing free value to them, they're gonna be way more likely to want to pay you. So engagement is a really effective tool for converting followers into clients. And finally, the third thing that engagement does for you and your presence on Instagram is it just provides more value to your followers. You're able to follow up on questions, give further information, give clarity, and it's just nice to be nice to people. I think sometimes with this Instagram strategy stuff, we can become so calculating and so like, if A goes to B, then C, and more followers, more money. But it's also important to remember that these are real humans out there, and it's just nice to be nice to people, in case you needed to be reminded of that. Therefore, when you spend time engaging on Instagram, you are going to generate more followers, more engagement, and more sales, and just spread more nice out in the world. So hopefully I've convinced you that spending time engaging on Instagram is worth your time. Now we've reached the part in the video where I'm going to tell you how to actually do it. What steps do you need to take in 2021 to make sure that your Instagram engagement is actually translating to all of those great things that I just talked about? So how do you engage on Instagram? What does that really mean? The first way that you can engage with other people on Instagram is through comments. The very first basic thing that you want to be doing every day is replying to all of the comments that you get on your posts. Now, depending on how many followers you have, that might seem like a more or less daunting task, but in my opinion, it's pretty much a necessity. I spend a lot of my engagement time on Instagram just trying to reply to all my comments, and I don't always get to every single one, but it is certainly a priority because if people are taking the time out of their day to comment on your content, you want to say thank you to them. You want to make sure that it is worth their while. And if they've already shown that they're willing to comment on your posts, they're probably willing to continue to comment on their posts, especially if they get feedback from you. So keep those people as warm leads. They're gonna still be a part of your community if you keep nurturing that relationship. It's much easier to just keep replying to the people who are already willing to comment on your post than to go out and try to find new people that will be interested in your content. So just make sure that you keep your friends close. And there's no enemies in this, so that doesn't have an ending to it, but you get what I mean. The next thing you can do is spend time commenting on posts from people who already follow you or people who might be interested in following you. Now, there's a lot of different strategies involved in finding the kind of people who might be interested in following you, and that's what I'm gonna talk about a little bit later in the video. But for now, I also just wanna remind you that it's important to go and engage with your followers, be a part of their lives, like become a true friend to them, see what they're up to, comment on their posts, like their posts, and it's just a nice way to build community. So try to keep that as a part of your regular schedule, your regular routine. And finally, when it comes to commenting, it is so important that these comments are meaningful and authentic and not at all spammy. So normally this means 4 words or more, simply because you cannot say much with less than 4 words. And definitely don't go around just commenting emojis. Like, we're trying to actually start conversations here. Bonus points if you are able to create a comment that then would generate a response that then you could respond to. Again, just keep those conversations going. That is the ideal scenario. Sometimes all you can do is just leave like a thank you or some other kind of feedback, but just make sure it's genuine. All right, the second kind of engaging that you can do on a daily basis is through the DMs. Instagram DMs are very powerful because it is a direct way into somebody's inbox. They're gonna get a notification and they are surely going to see it. It's a little bit more surefire than comments. And I really believe that if you are frequently DMing with someone, then you're more likely to see their content in your feed. So this is a really good way to make sure that your future content shows up in the feeds of your most dedicated followers, is by messaging with them. Try to reply to all the DMs you receive, even if I haven't personally been always keeping up with that lately. And also another good thing you can do is send a nice little welcome message to any new followers you have. So you can send them a quick video or audio recording or just plain old text message to say, hey, thanks so much for following me. It's a really good way to start engagement with new followers. And the final part of engagement, to a lesser extent, is likes. I don't want you to think that you can just go around double tapping on a ton of photos and that's your engagement time for the day, because lots of people get lots of likes. It's not really going to catch anyone's attention, but it is a nice way to show some love, especially to your followers, just by going to their profile, liking a bunch of their recent photos. I would usually encourage you to pair this with commenting as well, but it's always nice to give somebody some likes. Now you might be thinking, Katie, this sounds like a lot of work. This is gonna take me a long time. You're right, it will. This does take time. All good things take time. If you really want to grow, you have to put in a lot of effort. Just as an example, I want to reference somebody who I look up to a lot on social media, and also a previous client and friend of mine, Sarah Nicole from the Birds Papaya. You might follow her on Instagram. She's got almost 2 million followers now, I think. And when I first started following her, she had around 70 or 80,000 followers. And in about a span of a year, she went from 70,000 followers to 1 million, which is unreal. That is very, very fast growth. And she actually spoke at LaterCon last year and talked about how during that time, she would spend 4 hours a day engaging with her audience. That is a part-time job, y'all. That is a lot of time. So you can really see in her case, just first of all, how engaged her community is and how much she truly has relationships with her followers. It comes from putting in the time. So I'm not saying you have to spend 4 hours a day on Instagram engagement. I certainly don't, but I think that she is a very clear success story of just how important building a community and building relationships is and how much time it takes. Speaking of taking the time though, I want to introduce you to a really awesome piece of software that makes this all a lot faster. And no, this is not your typical sketchy Instagram growth software that you see advertised online. This is completely genuine, authentic engagement, and just a way that helps you stay more organized and do it all from the comfort of your laptop. You've heard me talk about them before, and you will probably hear me talk about them again. It is my friends $1.80. Thank you to $1.80 for sponsoring this video. I personally use $1.80 every single day to engage with my Instagram audience, and I also use it for my clients. $1.80 is this really cool web app. You can grab the Chrome extension, you can sign up for free. It syncs with your Instagram account and allows you to comment from your computer very easily on Instagram through your profile. Now, the really cool thing about it is you can set targets for your engagement. And this is where it ties into what I was saying before about how you can reach out to people who might be interested in following you. The way you find these people is through hashtags, locations, and other existing influencers that might have the kind of followers that you want. You can set up all of these targets inside $1.80, and what $1.80 will do is generate this screen of a ton of photos that are the exact ideal posts for you to be engaging with in order to gain more followers. I can open up any of these posts and just start typing. The other cool thing is $1.80 will save all my past comments, so if one happens to be relevant again, I can just click to reuse that comment, and it makes engaging so much faster. Plus, if you want to join $1.80, you can join me and my creator club. $1.80 has this cool feature called groups, where you can create a group for accountability and support and to engage with each other. So if you want to join the creator club on $1.80, all you have to do is use the link in my description. You can sign up for free and then go to the groups tab on the left-hand side and search creator club. You'll find my group, and then you can just request to join and I will let you in as soon as possible. $1.80 has seriously revolutionized the way that I do engagement on Instagram. I used to just kind of scroll aimlessly and try to find stuff to engage with, but now when I open up $1.80, I know that I have an amazing stream of content that I can just start engaging with right away. And as I've spoken to this entire video, it really, really does impact your growth. Whether you use $1.80 or you use more old school methods of just going on the Instagram app on your phone, it is so important that you spend time engaging on Instagram this year if you want to see growth. You want to pair it with that intentional content strategy, but you've also got to make sure that you're working on building community, because that is how you're really going to see your followers go up. So if you haven't already, if you missed last week's video, make sure you go check that out, because I talk more in depth about the content strategy side of how I am going to grow on Instagram in 2021. So you're not gonna wanna miss that. But of course, always just make sure you subscribe, because I have new videos coming out every Friday where I share my best advice about social media marketing, and I wouldn't want you to miss it. You can also follow me on Instagram for tips in between. I post there every day. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you over in these videos. Okay, bye.